Playing games competitively has never been a huge aspiration of mine. To be honest, despite my love for them, I suck at most of the ones I play. That all changed, however, when I found Skullgirls in my Steam inventory, saw that a few of my friends played it, and decided to give it a try. I put hours upon hours into it on end as a result, and honestly, it's one of the best games I've ever played. Skullgirls is an indie fighting game that was perfectly designed to be easy enough to get people into the traditional fighting game genre, myself included. And yet somehow it's also complex enough to be one of the most intricate and potentially competitive fighting games to date. With lots of love put into its colorful cast of characters, I'd say it is a pretty hard time turning people off. Though the total character count is only 14, they all branch out from the roots of their intended playstyle as far as they can possibly go by merely performing as you'd expect them to. Said branching out of characters makes at least one character in the roster, if not a team of 3, accessible to everyone who plays the game. Sure, some characters take more effort to master, but in the end, it's possible for any character to do well against any other character as long as their cards are set right. I guess when you think about it, the only real thing limiting people from playing this game is physical inability to use a controller or fight stick, in which case you're no different than anyone hopping online for the first time.
Darling, you are not ready for what you are about to face.
When it comes to different types of villains to be found in different forms of media, the types that I always tend to prefer are the sadistic ones that have too much fun doing their job, or just the ones that manage to give me a good laugh. Case in point, Eliza. While meeting the criteria above, I'd say she delivers especially well on the sadistic part, since Eliza will eliminate anything and anyone that gets in her way. This statement is mostly true when talking about her character, since her amazing mix-up and combo game is something to be feared by even the most experienced of players. First of all, let's get this out of the way. Fuck Albus. Fuck Albus straight to hell. That being established, I believe one of the best parts of Eliza's moveset is the number of hits on some of her normals and even specials such as Uppercut can be controlled depending on how many times you press the attack button. The different situations the enemies are put into from this mechanic will allow for decently long combos that will more than likely make the enemies want to take their controller with them into their early sarcophagus. Special moves are also a huge factor in her combos because of the ability to cancel into moves such as Osiris Spiral and
Back off, ruffian!
The amount of damage Eliza can do in her combos, obviously, is a pretty big upside, but you do need to keep in mind how much meter she needs to use to do it, especially when taking Sekhmet into account. With a simple quarter circle back motion in one punch, Eliza becomes Sekhmet, the ruthless killing machine that lives inside her body. At the cost of gradually draining meter, using it up while using normals, and not having special moves of her own, Sekhmet's got extremely amped up normals and won't flinch from attacks while she's out. Her medium punch makes for a great assist because of this, as merely using her normals quickly and calling her back is of little to no cost to you. Though I've seen her used a lot in combos, her previously mentioned super armor does make her a good last resort for all Eliza players. It doesn't help that her most damaging level 1 leaves her as Sekhmet if you have the meter to stay that way. Honestly, it's not hard to see why many people consider Eliza to be an especially good character among this game's balanced cast, but the amount of meter she uses can be a pretty big weakness that many players overlook. However, in any case, fighting Eliza alone makes her facial expressions not look very menacing in comparison. Except for this one, because when I see it, it honestly reminds me of some... Oh my god.
Now for the main attraction!
One of the best ways to figure out what a fighter's playstyle is without playing them, in my opinion, is to just look at their design. With Cerebellar, for example, one of her most distinguishing features is her really amazing pair of boots. They got daggers on them, what'd you think I was gonna say? Wielding the living hat vice versa, yes, this thing is alive, Cerebellar is best described as a character of power that relies on command grabs and restands. And considering the character she was built to be, she's a character of pretty good value to any team. The quality in her design as a grappler is actually pretty freaking amazing considering she's one of the only ones in the game who can fill that role. Her large amount of special moves, command grabs, and the extensions of her move Tumbling Run give her character potential higher than the tightrope she walks on. With a very impressive number of said command grabs, Cerebellar has many tools designed for not only elongating, but resetting combos, which can reset the amount of damage scaling that her combos can net. If one is careful enough, sure, a lot of these grabs are easy to avoid, but I feel like this is a good thing because it encourages Cerebellar players to be more careful with finding the right time and place to use a certain grab. The fact that this game also allows for custom assists means that the game giving limited choices for the role of Team Grappler is made up for more choices for Team Synergy in terms of multiple setups and support roles to fill. Back on the subject of her combos, another one of Cerebella's best combo tools is her ability to consistently use restands during combos. In a nutshell, you can stand opponents up when they're normally supposed to be knocked down, allowing you to combo longer without wasting an OTG. Once you get the timing down, Cerebella has access to more than one reliable enough restand, furthering her combo game, especially when resets are thrown into the mix. All of this being said, you'd think Cerebella would be lacking in terms of mobility since grapplers are usually pretty slow characters. But in addition to the previously mentioned tumbling run and its extensions, she can actually get across the screen both quickly and reliably with her ability to fly through the air. Because that's a thing magic hats can do. When using Cerebella to the fullest potential, her tools combined with a proper playstyle can make her a very challenging character to deal with, and can do so while being incredibly flashy. And please, feel free to take that out of context. God knows I deserve it.
You will be prosecuted to the full extent of the jam.
One of the best strategies to have while playing a fighting game, in my opinion, is to wait for the enemy to make a mistake and then capitalize on it. If you design a character's moveset around this philosophy, you're gonna have a hell of a time in Skullgirls, believe me. Big Band, as first impressions may otherwise suggest, is not the Hulk with a trombone. He is rather a cyborg that was literally designed to be a mix of characters from Street Fighter 3 and Guilty Gear. Picture playing him like this. You're an undercover cop, as his character would suggest, investigating a suspicious figure, but you kinda have to wait until they screw up before you can really take action. In the meantime, Big Band has access to many special moves that'll catch the opponent off guard when they do try to make a move. Giant Step, Cymbal Clash, and Take the A-Train are all great ways to punish unrelenting opponents. But the two moves that do this the best in my opinion are Beat Extend, which is a dragon punch that catches and drops the opponent, allowing for near endless setups, and Brass Knuckles, a charge attack that has decent armor on both the medium and heavy versions of the move, making it one of the game's best moves for counter hits. Of course, it is possible to play him offensively, but his ability to do all of what I just mentioned will definitely help in case the opponent sees what you're trying to do and you need to react accordingly. In addition to all of that, let's not forget what you do when you finally get your chance. His combo game is about as ridiculous as the shit people can pull off with his trumpet. All of those moves I just described, those work in combos too, and though some more than others, they're all great ways of making sure that you're able to do some significant damage to the opposing team. If you keep Big Band's sound stun in mind at all times, which is a way to limit his already amazing combo ability, he's able to pull off some of the longest and most damaging combos in the entire game, which are even longer and more damaging if you taunt before a super. Sounds stupid, but it's the truth. Oh, and I still have yet to mention why I said Street Fighter 3. It's honestly really weird. I always get some sort of weird satisfaction from punishing the opponent for a living. Especially because I don't play defensively because I suck balls at blocking mix-ups. I guess science doesn't have the answer to everything after all.
Step on board the Aroo train!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for the moment you've all been waiting for. In this corner, he's 287 pounds of folded steel and sex appeal. The king of the ring himself, Beowulf. And in this corner, oh to hell with it. Why am I introducing someone who's just gonna get their ass kicked? Beowulf isn't the fastest character, but don't let that fool you. His moveset is full of great approach options and spacing tools, including Wolf Shoot, Wolf Blitzer, Jumping Heavy Punch, and his incredibly useful dash that actually lets him use aerials while it's active. Any poor sucker that goes up against Beowulf must wonder how many possible ways he could screw them sideways, but joke's on them, they'll be dead before they can even try to count. Much like his fellow grappler, Cerebellar, Beowulf has one of the best grab games in all of New Meridian. With a whole ton of grab follow-ups, it's honestly harder to count what types of bones he hasn't broken at this point. He can even follow up with an outtake. Well, compared to him, his opponents are always garbage. Beowulf always carries his trusty herding with him, which he's able to throw and slide across the ground. Either by himself or with his wolf pack, this thing can sure pack a punch when it's used in the right place at the right time. Though it stays where it is after being thrown, Beowulf is easily able to pick it up, or it'll just magically materialize onto his body if he lands on it with a throw follow-up, making it worth like, I don't know, $8 million? Maybe 10 if he signs it. Don't count him out if he doesn't have it either. He's got a seriously handy backup weapon in the form of Grendel's arm. Not only does this give him 2 new methods to grab, but new normals which replace his crouching heavy punch and kick. Does this get you excited, everyone? Because if it does, that's a good thing for the king. Beowulf's hype mechanic can be charged up when he does certain moves. Not only does this mean more damage, but spending a level of hype allows you to do EX throws. What does EX mean? Hell if I know. What I do know is that things are not looking good for Beowulf's prey right now. Wait, no it can't be! It is! The wildest move in fighting games!
Rockstar Press! Everything I say is a catchphrase.
Let's go, Samson!
Hell yeah!
As I've mentioned before, Skullgirls has a pretty damn good learning curve when it comes to learning the characters. The game is good at teaching you things with its tutorials and its very extensive options inside the training mode. But of course that's not enough. Every fighting game has to have a character that's easy to learn and will teach a player about the game's mechanics. Now personally, I think every character is equally welcoming for different people in their own way. But in my case, however, I think it's pretty easy to see the writing on the wall.
Get it? Because I have a poster.
I first spotted Philia when doing the tutorial, and basically my relationship with her throughout my Skullgirls career started at me thinking, this is the Ryu of the game, right? This is awesome. Maybe I could finally be good at video games. But as it progressed, I realized that I kept playing her because I found out that she can be a really complex and fun character to play, despite her simplistic design. For all you newbies out there that may want to use Philia as a first-timer to this game, why don't I lay it on thick for you? Philia is a rushdown character, simply enough, and her many tools of movement give her good options when she's put on the spot. Either use speed to your advantage and use one of the most underutilized mix-up games in all of Skullgirls to drop the enemy's guard, or if the enemy has gotten more used to Philia's admittedly linear approach options, use the previously mentioned speed to pull back, play defensively, and wait for your best opportunity. For instance, Ringlet Spike is actually an amazing projectile for picking off zoners, as it always goes to set places on the screen. In addition to that, she's got a good method of traveling across the screen and comboing in the form of Hairball, probably one of the most useful Dragon Punch assists in the game due to its rather decent invincibility. 2 amazing level 1 blockbusters with multiple different uses in DHC setups, and in my opinion, one of, if not the best dash in the game. It's very quick, so it's easy to cancel into moves and other crap. From fake-outs into jumping attacks that lead into cross-ups, and airball dash cancels that put her on the ground, Philia is a perfect example about how the simplest things in life can be some of the most beautiful. Am I being figurative? Well, that's for you to decide. Your host tonight has been the devious Duplighost, and speaking of poetic crap, here's one I wrote myself. Roses are red. Skullgirls is one of my hobbies, so if you're an experienced player, stay out of beginner lobbies. Thank you and good night. I can't thank you enough. It's been over a year since my last countdown, and hell, it was an April Fool's joke. As you can see, as a result, I've decided to make shorter videos so I can hopefully release them more often without sacrificing video quality. I'm gonna try and work out a schedule to release videos like this efficiently, but I do have school and other crap to worry about, so it might not be incredibly easy. On that note, if you don't think my videos are enough Duplighost for you, you can always follow me on Twitter or join my Discord server. Both links are in the description. That's all for now, Slicks. I'll see you next time. Arrivederci.